So we just got back from a little road trip. Let's go see what we picked up. We got a new hood here, nothing crazy, but it is a new hood. And then we got some more parts, some parts up there, some boxes of secret stuff, but I'm not gonna show you that yet. Let's go check out the Corvette and see what we got going on. So we got the LS7 in here. We got the heads on it. Forget where we left off from the last video, but it's sitting in there, bolted in. We got plenty of room for activities up here. And we also got a lot of cleaning up to do. We got hoses and wire harnesses that everything needs tucked and tidied up a whole lot, just because it does not look good to me. It looks super messy. I'm gonna wait till the next clip. It'll be in the morning, probably 1.5 seconds for you guys. Yeah, I just need sunlight. And then we're gonna go over all the parts we got out there. Hopefully it doesn't rain tonight. Now that I got all the parts unloaded, I'm gonna show you guys everything I picked up and go over it all. And I'm sure you saw me carry it in the time lapse. I did pick up a turbo kit, and you're probably thinking, oh no, why did you get a turbo kit? That was the worst choice out of all the power adders. I actually don't think it's a worst choice. I was really stuck between supercharger and turbo, and I honestly think I'd rather deal with heat, because I can always move the radiator to the back, and that pretty much solves everything. But like I was saying, I'd rather worry about managing heat than worry about belt slip and I guess crank bearing issues with the drive on the front of the crank. But let's go over everything. First, you'll notice the big boy turbo, little guy radiator. That's gonna fit back under the car very nicely. The guy that put this kit together had it up front, so we might run it up there and just see how it does. But I honestly think it's gonna be too small, so we'll end up moving that out back. I can guarantee it. We got a Treadstone intercooler. All the piping's in here. I'll kind of lay all this stuff out maybe, or I might just start throwing it on the car and go over it with you guys as it goes on the car. We got plug wires to move those, some gauges, and pretty much just every single thing to get this running. We did pick up a set of 210 injectors. I forget what brand they are, but I'm sure I could look at them and tell you in 2 seconds. But let's stop chit-chatting. So that was a struggle to get one manifold on. And I can already see that we're gonna have issues here. Well, first of all, that would have been a lot easier if I would have just popped the alternator off, or if I had the brake booster delete already on here. But I had to squeeze in here. I got one bolt in. I didn't toss the gasket in because this is just a test fit to see how everything's gonna go, what we're gonna have to heat wrap, what we're gonna have to reflective foil, probably right along here. But man, that bolt, pain, bolt in the back, pain. So I know all the rest are gonna be a pain, but our boot for our alternator is not touching, but it's very, very close. So that'll be an issue. Right away, 2 issues on this side. We are smashing our AC line. It is literally pinched between the header and the frame rail right there. So that's a huge problem because I really wanted to keep AC on this car. I was gonna go rear mount radiator, keep the AC condenser up front with the new intercooler, but that's a problem. We might be able to bend that 90 back or get a different line made to where it runs, I guess 180, because it comes forward, goes up, and then it would go back. That way it's underneath the manifold, because that's it right there. It just runs up. It's right in the way. So if we could run under the manifold and then up into there, bend that hard line down a little bit, snake under, that would work out perfect. And then obviously this is going to be an issue along with this harness. Wow, there's like no room. because I need to tuck this harness down somehow, but it's gonna have to go all the way under the engine. It's gonna have to cross over back there. I guess this comes with turbo kits, figuring everything out like this. So I guess let's get the big meaty boy mounted up and see how it looks in there. Dang, just look at that. This is the motivation I needed to get going with the kit, because I was getting frustrated. Then I stepped back and looked at it and I was like, okay, let's keep going. So to point out more issues, power steering reservoir, that's gonna need to get wrapped. That is not dangerously close, but it's close enough that I don't wanna bake my fluid in there. Like I said, the harness that runs across, that's gonna have to get tucked under the oil pan with the cross member. What else do we got here? I'm just gonna have to pull all the AC lines for now and then do custom lines when the time comes. But man, just take a look at this thing. That is gonna be cool. I might mock up the wastegate to show you guys that setup, but pretty cool so far. So check that out. I could not wait to throw the hood on, so I threw that on off camera. I got the wastegate mounted. I had to adjust a couple things. That actually needs to be pulled over a little bit more, but not the greatest cut, but I'm really not worried about it, as this is a drift car. And I mean, I'm not gonna ruin the car, but it doesn't have to be super perfect right away anyways. So here's the wastegate set on there. What I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna pull the kit off. I'm gonna pull the kit off and start working on just tidying everything up, cleaning it up, getting everything perfect, tucking that harness. I'm gonna pull the AC system off and set that aside, because that will go back on the car at some point, but I just need to get the kit on there and then figure out the custom lines once everything is in its place. So in the last couple clips, it was about 3, 4, maybe 5 months ago, we had the wide body kit on. We set some of the turbo parts on. Since then, turbo parts came off, went back on, came off, went back on, and they're finally all on the car. Everything's tight, everything's bolted down. Body kit's gone. I could not fall in love with the rear arches. Let's see if this is still recording, because I keep running out of space. We're good. So the rear arches had a flat lip on them, and the wide body was great. It was super wide, everything fit perfect, but the rear arches had that flat lip, and I just could not fall in love with it. I think if it was painted, might not have been able to notice, or I would have forgot about it, but ultimately it was like a $6,000 body kit, and I feel like I'm gonna try to send this car, and I don't want to ruin an expensive ass body kit. So if I could just put some fiberglass Z06, ZR1 style panels on this that aren't a ton of money, I'll feel way better about breaking them when I do. Last thing you saw was bolting the turbo parts on, like I said, so let's get into that and show you guys where I'm at. So stuff came off, went back on, came off, went back on, and everything is fully on 100% now. Everything is bolted down. Got the coil packs relocated. I'm not in love with these valve covers, but they're gonna work fine for right now. And then we're gonna cut this here and then loop it around. And then this pipe was already done, it loops up. I'm not in love with that. Eventually I'd like to cut the front off and move the radiator in and do a top outlet straight to the intake. And with the intake, what do you guys think? I'm really split between two. I want to get a Holley ultra low ram so I don't have to cut a hole in the hood, or, you know, the complete opposite, a high ram. So with a high ram, we'll have to cut stuff. I'm not worried about that, but I'm really in between on the ultra low ram or the high ram. Let me know what you guys think, because I'm honestly 50-50 split on that. I like both of them. I know, you know, it's a turbo car, so I really don't think it's gonna matter too much which one I go with. I'm super split on either. They both have their pros, and So I actually just ran out of space with my phone, so I'm gonna make this short and sweet. Basically, I need to get an intake manifold bolted on there, get my radiator hoses on the car. Radiator's in the rear, so I have my fittings on, some fittings over here. Wire the scabbage pump, wire the boost controller, which is right there, wire the fan, and then do the vacuum lines for the wastegate and blow-off valve, etc. What else do we got? bleed the brakes. I think, did I mention them? The manual brakes, brake booster delete. I was actually going to end it on the C6, but I have something else to show you guys. Oh my, it's going to storm, so this is going to be super quick. I actually don't mind the junk truck. We're going to get to this turbo build at someday we're going to get to it. But so this weapon right here. I actually picked up the C5 for Julie. It's an automatic. I think it's a 1998. It has no engine. I'll show you that in a second. But clean title, 88,000 miles. Everything's there. It's got a full exhaust, long tube headers, came with an oil pan. Somebody just pulled the engine out, sold the shell. So it's even got Z06 seats. Like, pretty good deal. I got this for a steal, but I'll show you guys under here. Hood's pretty loose, so that's what we got here. I'll give you a little walk around here. But definitely a clean car. And maybe I'll do a price breakdown on this build once we get further into it. Like I said, I got it for a steal, so I'll go over that in a couple videos from now. But I'm about to get rained on. So I want to ask you guys a couple questions and leave your answers down in the comments. What intake do we put on the C6 high ram? You know, give me some pros and cons on that. The ultra low ram, I don't mean the low ram. I mean the new, it's like a year old by now, but the ultra low ram, like super low one. And then for this car, like, what do we put in it? I have an LS2 in the garage with it's got a mild cam LS2, 243 heads. I do have LS3 heads I could put on it, but for this car, it's an automatic. Like I said, this is just, we're gonna do a nice street car build for Julie to take to the beach or the store, or maybe even to Ohio. Like, wherever she wants to drive, she's gonna be able to drive it, and it's not gonna be crazy. So, do I put the LS2 with the mild cam, or do I build I have an LS3 block in there. I could do like a 416 stroker, mild cam. I think that's a little overkill, but ultimately she might not even like this car, so I might just have to sell it. So at that point, the LS3 would make the car more profitable, right? So let me know what to do with that. What intake do I get, and what engine do I put in this car? Like I said, LS2, LS3. Let me know what you guys think.